Hello, my name is Jon Bolitho-Jones, and I am an actor slash writer slash audiobook narrator from the UK, in particular the northwest of England. Now, I'm a fully trained actor with a master's in acting, and I have a book out which is called When the World Falls Down, and it's a very quirky fantasy story for young adults, also inspired by Alice in Wonderland. Now, of course, I'm also an audiobook narrator, and I've been doing this for about 8 months. And quite happily, quite conveniently, quite wonderfully, Kevin Clare approached me with Winter Masquerade, another wonderful, quirky, pretty crazy fantasy story inspired by Alice in Wonderland, and I knew I had to work on it. So, of course, I'm also the narrator for Winter Masquerade.
Miscalculation jammed her finger in her cabin door. She screamed, accompanying us with her unusual operatic voice. Biggest audience we've ever had. That happened on a Tuesday. Good things happen on Tuesdays.
Now, Kevin has asked me to talk about some of the characters that I voiced for the book and how I came about creating them. Now, the interesting thing is a lot of the characters come in pairs, and that actually influences how I voice them, how I bring them to life. Now, my favourite character out of all of them is Camilla. Now, she's absolutely loved this character. This is the sort of character I love in things like Archer, the older matriarch, who I always see as some kind of old actress. She's very dramatic, and she takes her time to mull over her words.
It's a long story, Camilla said. Perfect for telling during sunsets, but not the best topic of conversation for watching the sunrise.
Molly, though, came around a lot from the creation of Camilla. Camilla came first. Now, they work together. Camilla is, of course, the alchemist's wife, whilst Molly is the alchemist's lover. And you think, they're getting along, there's something weird going on, and they're actually best friends. Molly has a very different pace and tone, and I created her voice came out trying to be the opposite of Camilla. Camilla is a lot slower, as I have said, very dramatic, and she takes her time talking about cheese and stories, whilst Molly, though being very posh herself as well, it's a lot faster instead. It's likely the more erratic characters from a Jane Austen novel.
Don't worry, Ferris, dear. Miscalculation had a hard time at her first ball, too. She thought she was a chicken. She swanned about showing us her luscious drumsticks. Proud of them she was. She was basting herself in melted butter. Oh, don't worry, Ferris. It had cooled, I made sure of it. I had to help her with the herbs and spices. They did make her thighs look tasty.
Now, let's go on to my next pair of characters, which I'm going to talk about. I really like the detective.
You and your husband are in on something together. A dimensional exchange of ideas where you are well fed, and I'd even go further.
No, Molly cried. Don't expose her darkest secrets.
So, for his character, I drew a lot of it from the notes, of course, and also from physicality. I placed a lot of his words in the bottom of my mouth. Ends up being a bit bumbling, a bit of Winston Churchill, but a bit of a messy Winston Churchill as he thinks through his words. So all the voice is really coming from down here, and the slapping of the mouth, and the heavy movements in the lower jaw. Of course, another character who's paired off. His pair is Janus, who I've quite enjoyed as well. And what I wanted to try and do was to make him very, very distinct from the detective. In a way, he is the real detective. He's the real straight-laced, serious, down-the-line thinker. He's clever, he's intelligent, and it's very much the opposite to detective. He's very direct. So he is really the detective, despite being a small horse that lives in the detective's man bag.
Yes, Janus replied. But Mr. Rectomy insisted one item of clothing should be left in Miss Endeavour's cabin, so if their affair didn't work out, at least her cabin wouldn't be taken by another passenger.
Now, that's pretty much everything from me. I hope you pick up a copy of the Winter Masquerade. I really enjoyed recording it, and I really want to share this wonderful, mad, and also thoughtful story with you as well. Kevin's done brilliant work with Winter Masquerade there, and I really hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed recording it. So thank you very much.